We had a super new moon last night in Gemini. That's all I know about that. I know new moons are supposed to be good for like creating your life, you know, so setting intentions, whereas like full moons are good for like releasing. We love to release, love it. I was calling in the same things I always call in, and for the most part it's very kind of generic, because it's like, yeah, I do have some specific things, you know what I mean, like my beach home in San Diego, big picture, and like a community, like gathering community, being able to do this work full time, whatever that looks like, being able to do my creative expression full time. You know what I want? I want time and space to finish writing my books and publish them. There's like almost like a guilt in me that like it's been taking so long and I haven't devoted any time to those projects in a really long time, because I've been doing this and this is really fun. And even like I love to sit down and write still. Like I did a little bit of writing when I was in La Jolla this last weekend, and I still got it, you know what I mean, like it's still there, I still love it, more importantly, but this has been really like new and fun for me to be able to like document and like really just video journal and share in this way, because of the way technology and social media works right now, and who knows what it will evolve to in the coming years and time. But I just think it's so fun to be able to like do this, especially because one of the reasons why I was a writer for my whole life is because I wasn't strong in my own voice. I didn't know my voice. I didn't feel like I could speak up about certain things. And now I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. I will be heard, even if I'm the only one listening. You know what I mean? And so where I would normally feel like I would have to retreat to go have time and space and solitude to write, to be able to process my emotions, that's what I used it for, is like therapy. Now I do this, and it's just a different fun way of self-expression. And so this, in so many different ways, and so many different mediums by way of my creativity and self-expression, is what I'm doing, is what I want to do. And like I talked about this, I think it was the first episode of season 2, my first episode with visuals, where I was like, I feel like I'm already dreaming. I feel like I'm already living my dream life, like I am. And it feels good, because I was like, if I had, you know, all the finances, and I didn't have to worry about bills, and I didn't have to like worry about the kind of household, you know, worries of life that you do, and I was living in my dream home, and I was doing exactly what I want to do, what would I be doing? I would be creating. I would be creating day and night, and I would be retreating into solitude and heart space with God and with spirit, and going to the ocean. It's like, I'm doing that now. And I, since then, have been sitting with my life, namely with my daughters and our time together, and just taking a moment to really intentionally be present and savoring the little things, and that having to be supported by me doing actual practices and nourishment to help sustain my energy and help me to regulate my body and my emotions in a way where I have the capacity to show up with them fully present and playful and fun and like whatever we want to do, you know what I mean? That's been really cool. And also, I talked about this on my last podcast. Shout out to episode 46. First episode of season 1. I talked about how last year, I remember the moment that it happened. Scarcity died in my life. Died. It's dead. It's gone. It's like dismantled completely. I can't pretend that it's real. I can't even look at it and be like, yeah. Because it's not. And it's like the analogy that I heard, this was from RJ Spina, who made himself, through his mind-body connection and intention, energy, walk again after he was pronounced paralyzed through this crazy thing. Anyways, he was talking about scarcity and how it's just a complete bullshit illusion that obviously is intentionally fed to us for very, I feel, obvious reasons. But he's like, think about it this way. You don't think about how much oxygen you have, and you don't think about you have to ration it because there's a scarcity in the amount of oxygen available to you to breathe. You don't think about, oh, next Thursday, I better not use all this oxygen today because next Thursday I got to make sure I have enough till then. Oxygen payday, if you will. And it's like, that's exactly what it's like. That's exactly how abundant everything is in this world. And I get it. Like, I get being in survival mode. Trust me. I'm a single mom of 3 daughters. Trust me. I get it. I know what that's like. And people living in all kinds of different types of poverty, even across the world. I get that. What I want to say about that is also an intentional systemic oppression on people collectively, sometimes specific people groups, a lot of times, and other times just, yes, that is a reality. But also, if you actually take a step back and look at not just the bigger picture, but the truth of what it is that that's bullshit. Because we actually get to create our own lives. And this world, this planet in particular, and creation itself and energy and God and spirit and like the game of life, really, even, we get to create whatever reality we believe we deserve and we believe that we can create and co-create that with, the creator, that creator energy. I sit with God and I dream bigger than even my mind has the capacity to fathom, even because I talk myself out of it, because it's like, don't you think you've asked for enough, Vanessa? Don't you think you've gotten enough? Like, who do you think you are? And fighting all of those things. And it's like, actually, I feel like personally, because my relationship with God is very relational and beautiful and intimate, and there's such a benevolence there. And I feel like, what is it? Your Father desires to give you good gifts. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you. Like, we've been told this over and over and over again, and if you sit with that, for me, it resonates as the truest truth. And so we don't have to actually worry about it. And the ironic thing, but also this is intentional, is that worry about not having enough is what keeps you creating a reality where you don't have enough. I will say that again. You stressing out and worrying about not having enough because that is your physical reality right now, I get it. That worry is what keeps you stuck in that same prison of scarcity and not having enough in survival mode. You have to rise above what feels like and actually is your physical reality around you right now. You have to rise above it and be delusional as fuck. And who do you think you are, and have this audacious, bold expectancy of like, I know what you're saying. I see what it looks like. And I call bullshit, because I also know that energy is real. I also know that I get to create my reality exactly as I want to a T. And I've lived my life in a way where I didn't know and I didn't believe the truth for a long time. And now that I know that like scarcity is such bullshit on top of all these other things, I can't even pretend to be worried about something where it's like, before I would be like stressed out or like, you know, doing the math or whatever it is, and it's like, it's not going to math for you. This is not a logical 3D math problem. That's not how this works. And so earlier this year, at some point, I think it was in one of the podcasts where I was like doing a bonus podcast when I was doing the fast, I was really challenged and confronted within myself of like, okay, you know, you could hustle through it and make shit happen and in this 3D reality and figure out the math what you need and what you want and hustle and work more and make that happen. That math will math. That logic will math every single day. 1 + 1 is 2. Yes. People do it all the time. Or another option is that, you know, all these things that you say that you believe and that you can feel it in your bones, you can feel it in your heart and your spirit and every part of your beingness that is true. And call it magic, call it witchcraft, call it manifestation, call it whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's energy and it's real. And it's more real than the physical reality, I'll tell you that. You can quite literally ignore what it seems to be appearing as and focus all your attention and energy and intention towards what you're wanting to create and watch how fast things move for you. And it's that audacity to be delusional, especially in the face of everybody else being like, what are you looking at? What are you talking about? And to do it publicly? That's so funny. But like, yeah. Who do I think I am? I'm the creator of my own reality, quite literally. I create each moment, each day of my life, each experience. And I've been doing so my whole life, and so have you. And even I believe before we got here, we signed up for the experiences that we came here to experience with people. The lessons that we came here to learn. And none of it is wasted because it's all experience, whether it's joy, whether it's grief, whether it's confusion, to get to clarity, like that experience of that road of from distortion to truth and freedom and liberation and joy, eventually peace. What? I thought I was told that I couldn't have that. But yet here I am. Okay. What other lies have you told me? And why? What are you hiding? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of that I will find out about myself and my own power? That's the question I'm sitting with now. Because I'm not just here to create a fun, cushy life for myself and my daughters. Like, yeah, I'm going to create my reality exactly how I want it. But I'm also going to shake shit up in the process and set other people, captives free, who are seeking an example for what that looks like and maybe one way that somebody did it. And it's not like I'm going to create a guide. I'm not going to be a spiritual counselor or mentor or have services to offer to that. It's like, no, I'm going to share my story and show you that this is possible. And the only thing I offer is that, literally, because through that, those who are ready to hear it will find inspiration. And the only thing that I do is I lead you back to yourself and say, you have to go through yourself to get to clarity of what you actually want and why you want it. and the underlying thing that you're actually longing for, first of all, and start there. And spoiler alert, you start there and it ends there. No matter what you're trying to create out of your life, whether it's a relationship, a home, financial freedom, experiences, what kind of career or work or purpose you want to do, family, like how you show up in your life. Yes, those things are beautiful. And like, I'm not saying don't desire those things. Like, I'm absolutely creating all of those things in my life for me, calling them in, and with so much gratitude. And it reminds me of the alchemist, of like, he went, okay, I just talked about this disclaimer. I never read the whole book. I just found out recently that he was on this journey to go find this treasure. And I think, bear with me. I said I wouldn't talk about things I didn't know, but I'm gonna try. I just recently found out that at the end, he figures out, he's told that actually the treasure is back at home where you started at step one. And I feel like they said that there was gold under the tree that he would always sit under, right? That feels like, to me, like an analogy of like, you have to start with yourself and confront yourself and go through that death and rebirth process, and so many cycles of that, of like ego death and all the ways that you hold yourself back. And a big part of it is just confronting all of that, because you have to take accountability for yourself, not because you want to show up in that way with other people, but because when you take accountability and you own your story, that is your empowerment and strength to rise up into the next version of yourself, and you're creating your life in those ways, right? And so you have to start with yourself when you take this journey, and you go and you create and you do all these things and you experience, and yeah, but ultimately I feel like the thing that we actually long for is that contentment and fulfillment in our own hearts. For me, I call it heart space, because I sit there with God and with spirit, and that is like the truest longing and the biggest delight of my whole life. Like, I'm never more aligned or at peace or fulfilled or content, or like, joy doesn't even begin to describe it. It's like this utter bliss, barely begins to scratch the surface of what it feels like, full coherence. But maybe that's just me, I don't know. But that's what I mean, like, I share my story and this is my experience, and maybe parts of it resonate with people and they're like, oh shit, you know. And it doesn't mean that they write it down, take notes in their journal, and they're like, this is my action plan, da 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 da. It's like, no, but you heard a story, and something in you, whether it's in your cellular structure of your DNA, in your body, or in your mind, or in your heart, or in your spirit, or in your soul, something might be touched and zapped with a little thing of inspiration of like, oh shit, okay. And maybe you don't do it today, maybe you don't do it tomorrow, but at some point, something might be awakened in you as a longing of like, I feel like there might be more. I feel like there might be another way. I feel like I could do something different, you know. And yeah, absolutely. And I think if you're here, especially if you're still listening now, I think you might be more ready than you may have thought you were. And I think that's beautiful. And I'm not going to tell you it's easy. I'm not going to tell you it's easy, but I will tell you that the illusion of the lie that they want you to believe is that the task seems so daunting. Where do I begin? It's easier to just stay here complacent and stuck and live inside the illusion of these lies that feel like safety because it's familiar. That's a lie. That's bullshit. You're worth fighting for. Your life, your freedom, your full evolution, I don't know what your life is like, but if you're not completely content in every area of your life, fight for that. Fight for that, because there's more available, and it's not as hard as you think it is. And the truth is that it's actually much harder to exist in the lies and the complacency and the stuckness where your soul is dying inside of your life because you were made for more than that. So don't be scared that it's going to be too hard. Is it going to be? Yeah, of course. Does ego death feel good? No. Does shit have to fall apart for you to be able to create the life that you want? Like your life as you know it has to be gone forever in order for you to create the new life that you want. Yeah, absolutely. Is it worth it? Are you worth it? Yes. I forgot the original point. Anyways. I am living my dream life because this is exactly what I'm going to be doing when all of those things in this tangible reality come to fruition, and I'm experiencing that. And I think that is so beautiful. Like genuinely, the fact that I'm absolutely doing 90% of the same things that I will be doing when I have this dream life. You know? And I think that energy is super fucking magnetic to be able to actually call in, like, tangibly the things that I want to experience. So I'll keep you posted. Have a good day.